I think for me personally, there's always two things that I try to do. One is I think the overarching goal for me is always is inspired by my chairman, is to make a difference. And for me, I think making a difference at two levels. One is to basically build a company that is making a difference uh, in society, in in the universe that we operate in. And that's always been my goal and my driving factor. For Tricor, it is basically our passion and our goal to help companies globalize Asia, help companies leave Asia, go internationally, and to help foreign companies enter Asia. The second is really to make a difference for my people, my staff. Um, and there, I think, all of us have been at some point in our career much lower down in the scale. And we all want, to learn, to grow, to have a great future, to make friends. And so for me, I think I try to um, evolve the Tricor culture so that people can come in and see a difference in their life, their careers, and grow with it. So those would be the two things that fundamentally drive me as a chief executive to create. I think that there are two different levels. There's inspiration that I get from the books I read and from the personalities that I admire. So one of the most all-time favorite for me is the author of the book Good to Great, Jim Collins. I've read all of his books, and I just love the way that he's able to articulate in a very non-emotional way, but through data, how companies grow, how they build to last, how they go from good to great. So that really inspires me to want to learn to grow from there. So that's really at the very idealistic side of trying to aspire to different levels of leadership. In a more practical sense, what really inspires me, and I'll be a bit frank, is really having a very tough board. My chairman and my shareholders expect a lot. We work in a private equity environment, so there's really a very small bandwidth for error and for waste. And so for us, each day, really it's a relentless pursuit of excellence. And for that, I think because of the toughness of the environment, that sometimes can drive um, uh, the quality of one's character. So I have to say that it's not always been easy, but that's really been an inspiration when we've had to overcome and achieve goals that we set for ourselves. So for me, what I want Tricor to do is to evolve from the base of where we started as a PwC, EY, and Deloitte subsidiary to do these kinds of accounting and payroll and compliance tasks, but rather to evolve and say, actually, what we're here to do is to help companies expand their business, either into Asia, out of Asia. And that begins with incorporation. So for me, what I'm trying to inculcate now in the team is that Tricor is involved in helping companies grow their business, globalize. About a couple of years ago, myself and the board, we evaluated the strategy of the company, and we made a conscious decision that we would rather create a number one of something than an average of everything. And so what we did 2 years ago was to narrow our focus and our geographical focus to Asia. And so since 2 years ago, we set ourselves the goal and said, we want to be Asia's leading business expansion specialist. So effectively, we want to be the number one of corporate services company. And that means that I want to be better than my peers. I want to be the first choice that my clients think of. And I want to be in the right markets, and I want to dominate in the markets. So in that sense, we are on that journey. I think we are much closer to that journey than when we started 2 years ago. And that's been the journey that's kept us engaged and involved in this very challenging task. I think what it means for me in terms of this win is that a independent party of judges who looked at our journey and said, hey, you guys are really on the right direction. And that's a big vote of confidence for me, for my team, and for our brand. I came to the industry of Tricor not so long ago. So for me, it's been a transition from a different industry into this professional services space. I love every moment of it. But, I want to confess, there are days when you want to get a better sense of and certainty of your direction. So this vote is less for me, and it's more for my team's journey. And that, I think, is the biggest thing I take out of it, is that there is a independent party who's looked at us and said, hey, you guys are going well. I think that's important for the health of my people and the journey that we're taking.